The pro rods have multi-use opportunities for your golf and practice. One, you can see that the one pro rod I've put on my target line, this is closest to the ball, and I've got plenty of room to move the ball in either direction. You can see this is my parallel line of my body line. Then I look at my toes, knees, hips, arms, shoulders, and my eyes to make sure that they're parallel to this line on the ground. So you can see the railroad track. I can definitely set up a little closed if I want. I can set up a little open if I want, depending on the shot I'm trying to hit. But you got to have that reference first. What I love is that I can put the club face lined up and then come right over here. A lot of people misalign the club face, and really the best way to check that is to take the leading edge of your club and put it up against a pro rod in one of the lines that's there, and then just bring it back to make sure that it's square. Now, I have a third rod, and I can use this many ways, but if you want to hit some balls with tighter parameters, and let's say you're having problems with your swing path, you can see it's about it's a little less than a shoe apart, and I can hit balls in this alley working on my swing path. We know that the club's going to be traveling from the inside, but I'm extending down and then back to the inside again. I don't want to see my divots get to where they're getting too close to these rods, but I think it's really good to visualize the path through here at the bottom, knowing that it's curved in both directions on the other side of this. So very good for that. You can take this third rod, you can even do this. You can be setting up to it with your right hand like this, and you can check your shoulder alignment to make sure you're square. A lot of people are setting up with their shoulders open, or maybe if they're a hooker of the ball, they're set up their eyes over to the right. So you can do this first to make sure that you're square. That's number one. Number two, you can use it for body motion, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the pro rod and I'm going to stick it in the ground. Once I get set up, I'm going to stick it right back here. You'll notice it's angled somewhat like my right leg. Now take a look at the space that I have from my right hip pocket to the rod. Now when I go back, I want to feel like I maintain that. I want to feel like I'm not overly turning away from it. You can see all the space there. Or I certainly don't want to go into it this way. A lot of people that reverse pivot shift their hips first, tilt their upper to the left, and they're in deep trouble. So I want you to use this as an indicator of right hip is here, and then watch when I start down, I push away from it. And as I get to my left side, there's a big space that is then released, which is fantastic. Now, the opposite of that would be this. There are a lot of golfers that do this too much. I call it the wall. In learning to move into the wall, you stick it in the ground, put it at the heel, right about here. Notice my left foot is flared open. So there's going to be more space in the setup here. When you go back to the top, you want to move into the wall. You see now, and then when you finish, you can see I basically have covered all that space that's right here. So you can notice it's just opposite, it's outside my left toe because the foot's angled in. Here's my, I don't want to look this way. I don't want to certainly go this way too much either. I don't want to slide past that wall. I want to turn into the wall. So the wall you can see is just, it's about 6 inches to 8 inches in front of my left hip. Here I go back, here I come in. When I finish, and again, look where it is. It's behind me a little bit for safety. You don't want to get it here where you feel like your hands are going to hit it, okay? So that's important for your weight shift.